So I'm back with another video because well, I feel like whenever I'm prompted now, either by something I read, something I become aware of, if there's something in it I'd like to share, then I'm going to. So my videos can get varied, but it's all along the lines of keeping authentic. If you want to just find consistency really in being happy within yourself on your spiritual path, which is every day of your life and everything you're participating in. So I just read something briefly, but that's all it takes sometimes. I think it was an Eckhart Tolle heading of an email that said, "Are you attached to your unhappiness? Are you, your unhappiness?" And I thought to myself in the instant, and it's not just a mind thought process. It's more of a feel. Now, the light energy is more of a feel. The evolution we're going through is more of a feel, which means you pick up on your higher dimension, your higher self, and assistance connections. So it's like having a discussion with your guidance team, essentially. Like, they're just there all the time. And even more powerful, even more aligned, the more you acknowledge your correspondence. And how your soul gets more powerful the more it is online being used. So anyway, I think that's why it's feeling more powerful to share, because that's what my soul wants to do. So, are you attached to your unhappiness? Without opening the email, I just sat with the question. And I thought to myself, which is the feel, it's a whole body feel, a thought to my whole self, it's resonant. What would one do if you're attached to your unhappiness? Well, first of all, like, you separate it briefly, and you have to acknowledge that you are unhappy. And the only way to get through any kind of unhappiness is because your mind is choosing to linger in old stuff, and then from the old stuff project to the future. So then the person isn't actually present. So when you actually acknowledge, I'm unhappy, and you actually acknowledge it's because myself or anyone else doing this spiritual path as a soul, you're attached to something. You're attached. Now, we treat our energy fields like shopping carts. We'll hold on to anything we've bought in the field of life. So it's not often, and that's why just yesterday I was thinking it, how happy I was as I can't remember the age, I think it was between 20 and 30, when I discovered that the world had started to, well, the information, the knowledge, the activity of meditation, and it's not an activity, but you got to make the time for it, obviously, to let go, become unattached, your energy, let your attachments go. It was just yesterday that I was thinking, that was one of the highlights when I realized that the world is actually starting to embrace, or the collective around me where I was at the time, I'm getting information that we're starting to embrace meditation and also this thing called yoga. It was becoming more prominent. that was a really good feeling for me. So this is like, it's not a thinking thing. The soul is saying, how nice that people are doing that for themselves. But my question about meditation was, how do I do it? I want to do it. And so you learn all different types, and you keep walking your journey in life, and meditation just becomes you letting go and knowing you. That's what it did for me. So that's why my soul was excited about that. So that's the key in, you have to be able to, as you walk your path, slowly keep going to any kind of meditation to see what helps you let go, helps you really let go. And it wasn't until like early 30s that I discovered Abraham Hicks. Esther Hicks channels the higher spiritual collective of Abraham. Esther channels Abraham. And they created, along with her husband who has passed now, Jerry, they created 4 meditations with the higher collective Abraham. And they were the most beneficial kind of meditations I'd ever come across, because they're speaking directly of higher truths that haven't actually hit the planet in embracing that consciousness yet. So I connected with them, and when you fully let go and listen to the higher truths, it's like an activation if your soul is willing to detach and resonate with higher truth. The energy of the frequency of higher truths assists your energy field, will shift and expand your consciousness, but it's through the simplicity. These getting into the vortex meditations is like 4 15-minute meditations. A general one, an emotions one. I can't remember exactly what they're titled. Emotions one, a financial one to assist us with the truth of abundance, and a relationships one. 15 minutes each. One of those a day. Beautiful. But I will say, in giving my feedback to, like I did say, giving my feedback to the higher collective, you know, I'm not one of the most mentally busy people in the world. So I feel like for however mentally busy I am and needed to detach, I feel like I need to listen to the whole 4, like sit for an hour to actually let go. And so some days I would do that. And it was only because like my whole solar plexus, my whole being could fully just connect with the simplicity of the higher truths. And I didn't do that all the time, but at least, you know, a couple of times a week I would do the whole 4 of them in the one sitting, because I was rejuvenated then, and then I could walk my soul path even more so, because I was even more connected and committed to keeping an eye on my soul path and not just doing anything in the world with my energy. It was like there's this internal development and architecture going on where I've got to work with what my soul has come for this lifetime. So I want to give my attention to that, and it's the subtle realm, development and expanse. And it's all a learning, and no one can do it perfectly, because that's the whole point. So we're silly to hold on to any energy of judgment. Another attachment, which is a block to your expanse. So detaching is way more authentic than a kind of dress up spiritual path. It is more gritty with yourself. It's like you actually have to realize that our outside version of ourselves, our ego, gets very attached and we call it life. But when you actually realize that the internal world is uncomfortable with just putting up with the outside world, with just going with the usual, with the status quo, which is why we then depend on emotions which still don't get us anywhere. Like we'll get angry about something, the system hasn't changed, or we'll have various emotions come up and oh, another day or week has gone by and nothing's changed. Another year's gone by and nothing's changed. And it's even worse. You should see what they're doing now. So we have this, still, we don't realize how much we're attached to the outside world. And that inner world becomes a space for our, like the shopping cart of it, whatever we buy from whatever we believe. So you really, there's an internal world connected to purity of the highest dimensions, and the aim is not to leave this world because of all the stuff we believe or what's going on. It's to embody the higher light of what your soul has come to do. You have come to make a difference via this internal world, being more of your embodiment, which is your contentment. And from contentment is joy. So if you're unhappy with, I will call it, the shopping cart or even shopping mall of a field, then it needs to be like swiped, like wiped out. You need to adopt the internal world concept of giving that more strength of your life, more felt presence, rather than notice when it's just your mind and emotions trying to control everything. I'll find a way. Or even further outside of ourselves, because of who I'm known as, I've got to send my energy out even more to find a way with all the people. There is another world inside where you have to learn to detach so you can empower this, because we are not getting the change we want to see. We're doing mind and emotions and titles and money and saying whatever to please for the moment and everything's okay, but it's not coming from us intelligently. So we need to come back to ourselves and learn what, a few different lessons on the way back in, and love this being that needs to embody this space. It is not meant to be who you've known of yourself, completely maintaining that self the whole way. That self that we've known at any age, and then we get to the point where we want to discover the internal world, it's, I'm a soul. So when I meditate, I've got to let go of title, because my soul, it don't have titles. It didn't want me to come here just to accumulate or look good or make sure everyone's happy or everything's run smoothly. No one's a rescuer. No one's saving the world. The only way we change our world is, I'm a soul. So I have to let go and listen to my soul. So spend time with some simple higher truths or any meditations you like that allow you to get to a space of detachment. Now, when you know that space of detachment, it's not a part-time fantasy feeling. Oh yeah, I did feel that way. It was nice. And then I just get up and, where as long as you acknowledge it does change me. I do feel a little different in the day. It does change the way I interact with others when I have this space. But there is so much to that inner world that wants to shine more. And so we can't have a separate mentality with meditation feels great unless we're bringing consciously from that meditative state walking into the world. So it's not to say that life is one big meditative state, but there's this peace inside where the soul inhabits that you can always refer to. That connects us to the higher dimensions of ourselves here and now. I look up just because, like, it's like when you look up to the sky, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Well, so too, like the help, heavenly. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. That's why you can sit in the amazing of peace and the emanation of stillness, and it feels like you're connected, and it just keeps going. Because it does, truly. Our energetic body in a peaceful state is that beautiful. So it's that richness we develop understanding through feeling with ourselves, and we become that. So you'll detach more from energetically what you feel in some moments where mind and emotions you would act on, where there's this more gut response that's nearly, it drives out that kind of response, and it's more like this authentic version of oneself that is only interested when it comes to interacting in the world, whether they're authentically like honest with being their version, their souls, their version of themselves. They're not doing their best to maneuver or make good. You just will be more content, offer this content, and the world can do what it wants, right? Because it's this inner contentment coming from that place and space, that peaceful emanation that is the truth, that is the strength of your soul, that is what the world needs. And that does way more than us trying to mentally make good with little or particular situations. It truly is like more of the streams of consciousness of what your soul could offer when we get our heads out of the way of trying to make good. You know, we all want like things to look good, things to go well, even things to sound well. But when it comes down to it, we need to learn in the space of like meditation and resigning our minds. We resign this upkeep that we have to make good, like make appearance good, make things good. Things will be good when you're emanating from the strengthening of this space. And you'll find more connections in the world in that way, and more can change. Because we're craving authenticity between each other. And we really do, at the heart level and underneath, like the solar plexus is pushing on the heart, because we really do have all these good streams of energy that want to offer, but we've been making good with like the head and appearance and yeah, separate really from the soul, telling ourselves that importance is really if you've made good enough that you're on show, but we haven't given the soul the microphone, or put the soul in the spotlight, or just given the soul a little bit of a heart platform, voice, however you want to look at it. It's more, we've stayed at the head level thinking that we're thinking all of this. But yeah, you can think to a certain level, just like we know that ego representation in our actions in the world can do various things, but the empowerment truly comes from your expression of authenticity, and we need to keep ourselves in check and honest with that whether we are, it is like a bridge from the gut, from the human perspective into the spiritual perspective. Like the upper chakra consciousness of us is like, physically your mind has got everything under control up until this, like the solar plexus, and then the solar plexus is embracing more of the spiritual dimensional aspect of us, and it's trying to say, like a sun rising or like walking across a bridge in a sunset, at any time do you have the strength of this bridge connection to make connections with the world that is authentic. So that's why it's good to notice if you have any throat chakra consciousness issues, where you give recognition to if you're too worried about how the world receives you, and on the other side of that, well, that's the two things. Too worried is coming from you, and the outside, you're worried about them, how you're received. So you need to be able to like cross that bridge anytime you want, knowing you're doing the work of your interior, and you wouldn't change this interior world development connection with yourself for anyone. Yeah, we do get, we connect, interconnectedness helps us grow, but you don't, give up your truth in this authentic expression into the world. Because the world needs us to do that, because that is who we are, like that is the upper dimensions of us, not just pleasing the physicality, where like you want to express but you hold it down to keep things happy, the same, don't rock the boat. Rock boats, we have wild seas all the time, we have calm seas all the time. It's continuously changing with the weathers, but imagine what it would be like, right, because we affect the environment, if we did come more from a peaceful place. We'd have more stability in the weather patterns. It's not a fantasy when I say we'd have more calm seas. And we'd come across some, topsy-turvy kind of weather at times, but we have the reliability of the calm seas from within us. So I'll leave it at that for now, because I could go on all different angles with that and into depth. And right at this point, that's right, I was trying to remember why I started. Meditation. Yeah, so unhappiness. You got to detach, detach from the mind, unattach from the mind. And your gut needs to feel good at the heart. And that's where we have a lot of clean out to do in meditation, right? So there's different aspects that come into play so that you don't continue to degrade the interior world. You need to love your inner world. You need to love yourself. So remembering we're not perfect, we have to honestly and consciously take a look at, to detach from, if we want to authentically receive at the heart again like sprouts, to let our sprouts walk across the bridge, the throat chakra, the expression. So there is some honesty at the start of that bridge. Detach, like detaching from the old world, which is essentially, it doesn't matter what time period in this lifetime, doesn't matter if you're doing it now or you started, like I started meditation more 20 years ago, thereabouts. Yoga a little bit before that, actually a decade before that. Anyway, there is a detaching of the old world. That there is a detaching in meditation that is you cleaning out the old world. So it's like taking it seriously, that you need to authentically be able to cross that bridge of where your shoulders are able to relax back somewhat, and you don't mind how the world receives your honesty of authenticity, of you not disowning, not make space for your gut connection with truth. So if you've got things in your gut that you don't feel happy about, for whatever they are, you need to be able to face it, but put love there as well, and telling yourself, well, no one's meant to be perfect. Not me, not anyone, but I do need to feel this to leave it, to let it go. So you love yourself because you're trying to create that upward flow of energy like a heart platform. I'm not perfect, but I want to be more conscious not to be living in this kind of situation where these feelings repeat, because it just doesn't feel authentic to me. This is letting go at no matter what age you discover meditation and this kind of response with yourself, this flow. Be able to honestly look at things, to change them, to let them go if they do not serve you. And you not feeling happy doesn't serve anything in the world, because you're not giving your authentic self if you're unhappy. If you're like down on yourself, judging yourself, holding yourself back, feeling like you have to be different versions of yourself at different times. When the beauty of life is that you are this one soul whole. That's the beauty to embrace. It's like, make this kind of developmental space for your bouquet. You don't have to see your bouquet when you're doing it. Your bouquet will rise when you're making the space for it. Your bouquet is unique and needs to get shown to the world. Your bouquet. because I can feel into the authenticity or inauthentic energy where someone doesn't let themselves activate or instigate an authentic growth of themselves in the moment. I get the urge, like in connection, that someone could probably give of themselves, but they won't do it. And I can't do any of that path with anyone. Like you can talk with people, you can share who you are with people, and that light could influence how anything at all. I'm not trying to influence, but we influence each other by just shining our light. So people walk away from you and you might have said something that you don't even realize has assisted the way they think about something. So the more authentic we shine our light, the more authentic introspection others might continue a light shining on themselves. You know, we question, we open things up, we think maybe, and then we think, yeah, and then we think, okay, we think, all right, and then we got something going there and we have to act on it. If we don't, then we will feel that discontent feeling, like at the solar plexus. And then there might be another opportunity, and this is what guides and our path try to keep us opening to. So enjoy your meditations. Meditation. Becoming one with your wholeness. Grounding it and feeling a central alignment at your heart and chest. Letting yourself drop into a space where you let go of what doesn't serve your soul. So you just, in a meditative space, you can just relax your shoulders down, let your hands drop, sit in any kind of comfortable position, hands on lap, hands down by your side, and with your breath, whatever you've found or continue to learn about yourself that easily helps you drop in. Like mine has become just quiet and breath, and that commitment that you want to drop anything that doesn't serve. And so that's the breaths you take, dropping in, and out goes the breath of the commitment of anything that doesn't serve you, holding on to, playing a part in your mind space, embodying that central eminence alignment. And there can be struggles, so you've got to, with the ego, with the mind, you've got to let yourself, so you've got to tell your ego or tell your mind, I really don't want to hold on to anything you're offering right now unless it is ease and flow kind of eminence that says, I'm going in. I'm going into the quiet. And you know, it's just that kind of resignation that says, I'm just sitting in that space, in that resignation, and then you may have to repeat that, but it's that you want to do, because my favorite thing to say when I'd sit with the busy energy, I sit down, would be, let go, let go, let go. And I'd have to repeat that and do the breath, because you seriously, the esoteric nature of it is you need to get to that. The human is resigning, the human is breathing and releasing, so that this space clears. So you are making an energetic commitment with yourself. I let go, I let go, I let go. So you can get more central and less have the shopping mall of life, the mind, the chitter chatter, the whatever, the yesterday, the last week, the problems, the issues, that person, this conversation, blah, blah, blah. So it's a discipline, because all this stuff gets in the way. And we need to stay present to feel contentment. Otherwise, we just become whatever's going on. So it's the true treasure, the real gems you hit in there, okay, that are always there, shine differently. And that's where you start to make that better feeling grounding that feels like a heart foundation. And over time, as you do this, feels like you have this knowing space. This is where you come from. This is truly who I am. It's a new grounding of, this is where my bouquet comes from. My bouquet. It's different to your bouquet and your bouquet and your bouquet and everyone's bouquet. This is where my bouquet comes from. So I'll bring it back around now to the point of, doesn't matter about title, even relationships, who we know, who's in our life, what's going on, what's of major importance, what's this, what's that. That's all going to be there, right? It's not what we're doing right now. It's not what may come from going into your meditative central space. We have to be able to detach so much that if life asked you to let go of a title in honesty from the soul, then that's okay. If life asked you to go and do something completely different. Now, when I say life, I mean from this central space, from the soul connection. That's okay. We are not here to maintain the perfect persona, the same title, the same anything, doing the same thing. We are not obliged to continue being particular roles. We're not soulfully having to upkeep the outside. A lot of people have a shopping cart attachment to that. that they go to sleep at night with that shopping cart that they've got. And that's who I am. That's how tomorrow will be. That's how my life's going to be. That's what I expect. That's who'll be there, etc. They sleep with that. They can't sleep a lot of the time because it's this upkeep suffocating the heart and soul. Suffocating the heart and soul. The head of the human and the emotions are going crazy and wild. Why aren't I happy? Okay, so you're not your shopping cart world. And I say it like that because we haven't been, like I've said in this video, we haven't been strengthening, bringing more of ourselves up to live at the heart and soul. And I'm going to leave it there very soon because that's something for us to contemplate ourselves. And guides, what would be a good thought now that when I say we haven't been living this, because that's still a mental concept for us, and we're slowly but surely raising consciousness with there is more to us, and it is through our instilling of heart foundations between each other, like even between our own breaths. Am I instilling a loving heart foundation, telling myself all the heart foundational kind of requirements that it's okay if it doesn't look perfect. Don't upkeep at your new heart foundation the old world tactics, okay, which is we're not meant to stay the same, and we're not meant to have a perfect appearance the whole time. And just be careful if you are dependent on the world and you in that kind of connection, because that's what's got to go. That's what's going, because that's empty upkeep. Because you got to be happy, you got to be authentic. And I'm saying gotta be because that's who we are. That's who we are. High dimensionally, that's who we are. We are not lower vibrational upkeepers. Judging each other, feeling crap at the chest, feeling like we have to push forward in life, that it just fucking sucks, and all this kind of keeping ourselves at the same. So it is make space for a soul emphasis, and that has to come through you. You're not going to be happy in this world if you're not bringing your soul through. So you make the space for it. So the key is, am I authentic with myself, and give that to the world? And so you have to love the parts of you that haven't been authentic. And then sit with yourself as to why, because now I'm not going to do that why anymore. I'm going to be authentic. So you love this bridge crossing. You love it into fruition. My old grounding was an upkeep. I wasn't crossing that authenticity, and now I'm going to. Okay, because that's where you'll get the flow of your soul. And a lot of us, it probably wouldn't take long before the floodgates come out expressing, because truly we are craving authenticity between us, which is coming from where? Between us. We got to do it. So just get authentic and don't get too down on yourself, and make the space. Getting authentic and honest with yourself. That you will only bring the authentic gates. You know, like, we're not always in the world. So when you do have to open yourself up, you've got, I don't know, an authentic gate, which pushes out anything you think you have to be out of the way. That's said for somebody. I think feminine energy wise, though, I know with myself and feeling into it, it's like a feminine energy. But I mean, that goes for both sexes, because we're all a blend of them both. But predominantly it feels like a feminine energy when, like, through different emotions at times and through different challenges, we can actually have an awakening. And I remember having a particular kind of awakening, and it can happen at any time, because it is just awakening to more of yourself, into like realness of your world. And so my awakening was through well, it was through a story that I was listening to be told about a real encounter. And it was just double doors of the heart whoosh, opening. It was a story in I think Carolyn Mays, a reflections workshop. There's different categories of her courses. It was with it's called the Change Makers. Anyway, one of my favorite. When I do remember it, I'll share it. When you hear an authentic story of how the heart reaches out to help in the world, but not expecting anything back in return, yeah, it's like the gates of my heart just opened, like double doors. And it's just like, yes, like this is what we need to share in the world in connection, because it feels so fucking great, you know. The story was when someone was in need and didn't expect he was going to be helped by people who appeared to have less than him. And he come from a place of having a lot and a busy life and everything, and was truly resigning to embracing more within himself. But he didn't know where to go, but he found himself somewhere, perhaps like an ashram or something in India, and was helped by people who were suffering, who didn't have much. But that gift that he received by people who didn't have much meant the freaking world to him, and I could feel it in this story. And that was it. Because that's the message. It doesn't matter what we got. It's what we're willing to give without expecting something in return makes a massive difference. So, how did I get to that part of this conversation? Yeah, letting go of like all the things the old world can bring to the surface. These things are still going to be there. It's not like an old world and a new world, but it's our recognition that we truly hold our lives back, which is more soul embodiment if we're living our lives, if we consciously become aware that we are holding ourselves back. And this is the new foundational like nourishment of the soil for what I call the bouquet. I don't literally, when I say bouquet, I don't literally see like a bouquet. I see like easy, healthy, nourishing growth, people being who they are in the moment. All different flowers we haven't even seen before on this planet. Like strong, powerful, like even, you know, architecturally, you know, dimensionally just beautiful, like crisp and, you know, long, thin stems, different kinds. Just, you can't be too specific. It's just powerful when we offer our soul. It's like, you know, when someone does something that's so in alignment with being themselves, they're not worried how it looks too much. They're delivering like in the moment. It can be spontaneous, or it can be like a built up rising of someone's soul. And you're just like, oh, that bouquet's got it going on. You know? It's a good feeling emanation in the world. Like so many of us do. So I think we've touched on everything to do with don't upkeep the past if you're unhappy. Anything at all about it, any moment, because every moment is your opportunity. This is your life. This is your spirit's moment. Like being here now on planet Earth isn't gonna last forever. This is your spirit's moment. Every moment, like how us three-dimensionals speak about it. Well, we're spirits. We've, you know, descended into bodies. It's our spirits. Our spirits are like connected to, one with, vehicle, vessel of soul. Like every part of it. It's our moment. I feel my guides have a higher vibrational message to add, but the thing is, I'm not feeling so high vibrational at the moment, so that's the dependency on the connection. So like, I only bring something through when I'm fully like me feeling, you know. But I'm a little bit tired at the moment, and I think I'll just enjoy my coffee. But if they have anything just to flow through me like I have been flowing, then that's fine. But I do feel like when it's not too early hours of the morning, and I'm ready, then I would, you know, do it again, sit for them. But yeah, they pretty much want to say everything is in alignment for your follow through on it. Like what I was just saying about myself and how I feel, I could bring through more of a full-bodied, authentic connection of power of various spiritual help. But right now I can just sort of flow with how I'm feeling and finish on the hour. Feels right to just, you know, relax. So yeah, connection with alignment is easy once you let yourself go there. Teresa has given all the healthiest, wealthiest hints and tips to deliver you there. That all you're looking for is in that space and place where you easily receive yourself. And when you can receive yourself, you can easily receive others. Allowing each other this space and place to be authentic, to want your brothers and sisters to bring through their purest of authenticity in any moment, because you all work together in this aspect. You work really well together when you have this space and place for each other. Your bouquets are ultimately shining gifts for one another. Let them come online. Let them be received by you online, aligned. Alignment. Aligning all the time. Am I authentic? Do I love myself? Am I willing to express myself authentically? And this is how I shine. This is the new paradigm of connection, expanse, loving growth. You will be seeing us more often soon. Goodness be to all, for all. Immense clarity. And for now we commend Amen. God bless. Heaven sent. Enjoy your coffees. Enjoy your morn. May the sun rise within you all. Bye for now.